We're now joined by former Packer and NFL analyst Greg Jennings. So, Greg, what impact will Randall Cobb have on Green Bay this season?
I think he actually will have a huge impact. Believe it or not, Randall has never been a high volume catch guy, a yards guy, but he's always been high production when it matters most. Very dependable, very smart in understanding the game and what's being expected of his quarterback and the offense. And so when you add a guy like that alongside Davante Adams, it takes and alleviates pressure. Now you give your play caller another option that is going to be consistent. Again, you heard Aaron Rodgers talk in that presser saying when he is healthy, and that is the key for Randall Cobb to be healthy. If he is healthy, he will be very impactful because Aaron Rodgers will want him to succeed. He's going to be put in positions to succeed. And ultimately, they have a young draft pick, Amari Rodgers, someone who they want to become what Randall Cobb was, if not even more. And so he has someone who can model it right in front of him and kind of tutor him and mentor him along his process and his journey so he can get jump started in the right direction. But I think more than anything, just adding that added veteran presence in that locker room, someone who understands what the quarterback wants in Aaron Rodgers and knows how to lead without always having to garner attention or the ball. So I think he's going to be very impactful. How impactful is going to be dependent on his health.
I'll agree with impact in terms of leadership, but I will not agree with impact in terms of production. You know, he had one of the hottest quarterbacks in the league. They didn't win very much in Houston, but Deshaun Watson was playing some inspired football, and he was delivering that ball. And Randall Cobb was only good enough for 10 games, 38 receptions for 383 yards, 2 receiving touchdowns. I don't see him being a large impact on this team statistically. Yes, he's familiar with Aaron, and Aaron is familiar with him, but I do not see him being this guy who impacts the team. You look at Davante Adams, he's a 1,300-yard guy. Next guy up is Valdez Scantling. He's 690 yards. And then the next one is 586, Robert Tanyan, the tight end. They have their main receivers. They have their main weapons. They are established. I do believe he will be a good spot guy, a possessional guy. I do think the value there is the leadership quality. And if we're looking at measuring the impact of his leadership, he'll have a great impact. If we're looking at the impact statistically and him impacting a game, win or loss, I don't think it's very much at all.
Wouldn't it be nice if the Packers just drafted a wide receiver? You know, and appease Aaron Rodgers that way. Can't do it that way. I mean, this is obviously something that Aaron wanted, and it was a concession that the Packers are making for him, which I think that they should do. Now, that does not really take away from Randall. I mean, like we said, he has to stay healthy, and they have a strong receiving core as is. So he can add some value in that space. He's a veteran guy. Aaron's very comfortable with him. Similar to Gronk in Tampa Bay, this is a guy who can come in, not necessarily be high volume. He's not somebody you're going to go to repeatedly in big spots, but he can be very influential, and especially in the postseason, he can have big moments because they have the chemistry. He knows the system. He knows Aaron Rodgers. They're on the same page together. And Greg, as you know, there's extreme value to having that kind of relationship with the quarterback. So as long as he's healthy and if it makes Aaron Rodgers happy and he's contributing to the locker room environment, which Aaron has stressed time and time again is very important to him, this culture, this environment in Green Bay of inclusivity and everybody being on the same page. So I think he has a lot of value outside of just being a high-volume receiver, which no one's really asking him or expecting him to be.
Yeah, for Aaron Rodgers, I think it's great because it allows him to come out of the summer and all that drama and turmoil and say, you know what, at least I got one win. I mean, I got L's everywhere else, but at least I got one W, right? And then I got my friend Randall Cobb back.
Geez.
But I could see that it could potentially have as much negative impact as it does positive. And that's because Randall Cobb isn't just coming back. He's coming back with a $10 million contract, and there is an already robust wide receiver core there. And he's coming back because Aaron Rodgers wants him there. So I'll defer to you, Greg, in terms of how that could potentially play, because I don't know Randall Cobb's personality. And I don't know Devontae Adams' personality or Amari Rodgers and how all of that is going to fit together, or whether the money a guy's making and the production not necessarily living up to that, and maybe getting a few more balls or getting targeted a few more times that in the structure of what we've been doing before this, he might be getting than the other wide receivers thinks he deserves. Like, how the politics of all that potentially plays inside of a team and keeping that from turning into something bigger. Like, that would be my concern because of the dynamics that brought Randall back and the price tag that he's carrying with him and the unlikelihood that he's going to be able to live up to that contract. I'm not saying it can't work, but it does kind of raise a question for me of, okay, so how are you going to make this work?
Yeah, Rick, you make a great point when you talk about his price tag, but you got to think about the culture that he's going back to. That's never been a concern. Guys are never going to talk about in that locker room in Green Bay what another guy's making, what they wish they should be making, or what they wish they shouldn't be making, what have you. That's just not the culture there. And so I want to touch on something that Joy said. Like, he's not going to be utilized in this robust role of, okay, Randall, we need you to catch 70 to 100 balls this year. Now, he could very well do that, but that's not the role. Look at how Matt LaFleur uses his guys. In particular, that running back room. He cycles them around so that they can stay fresh. He wants them fresh at the end of the season so that his best can give their best performances. Kind of like what you alluded to, Joy. Gronkowski, when did he have his best showing? In the most important game in all of football, the Super Bowl. That's what they want the role of Randall Cobb to be. Have great moments, make big catches, clutch catches like he's always done. He's never really been the guy that you expect to lead the team in receiving yards or receptions or touchdowns, but he just has a knack of making really important plays, big plays, and consistent plays. And so when you talk about his leadership, it's going to be both on the field as well as off the field. But his statistics, they've never been something that we can say, oh, Randall Cobb is going to be at the top of the receiver list in all of football. That's never been his MO. So that's not going to be his expectation going into year 11 in Green Bay.
Yeah, that's not the expectation. And they're trading for him. So they're not the one that gave him this contract. Like, this is the contract that he has, and they're trading for him with that contract. So it's not like in the room people can be angry about what he's making when they're bringing him in. And everyone knows what the deal is this year. Like, this is the year that obviously they're going to make some concessions to Aaron Rodgers. And for that matter, I believe this is Aaron Rodgers' last year here in Green Bay. So if you're on this team and you are seeing everything that's happened this offseason, and now you're seeing Randall Cobb come in and you're hearing that press conference from Aaron Rodgers today, you should be locked in. And this is a go all in year. If you want to win a Super Bowl, you could have a really good chance of doing that with the league MVP, Aaron Rodgers, and he is going to go all in this year. He is going to be focused this year on doing just that because he's probably out of here at the end of the season. So, again, I don't see this as a big, high volume move. It feels very Gronkowski, Tampa Bay. Like I said, it's not going to be a big ask of Randall Cobb. If he stays healthy, he's going to be utilized in big moments, and hopefully he'll be healthy in the postseason when Aaron Rodgers can rely on him being a veteran and them being on the same page, him keeping the culture, the mantra that Aaron wants to set for this season throughout the locker room.
Did Gronkowski have a tremendous impact on Tampa Bay during the regular season?
It's not all about the regular season.
Well, I'm just saying, did he have a tremendous impact? So I'm just saying, if we're answering the question, what type of impact, I think the question, the way it's being answered is great, and I think it's very favorable and it's commendable towards Randall Cobb and the player that he is. But if we're answering this question and it's apples to apples and answering the question, he's not going to have a tremendous impact on this team's success as it applies to on the field. Now, if we're measuring it based off of leadership, again, I'll say based off of leadership, familiarity, I can see him having an impact. But I don't think Rob Gronkowski had that big of an impact for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He didn't have that much of an impact in the playoffs. He had maybe 1 or 2 big plays, and he had a big Super Bowl. That's what happened. That's not impact outside of one game. So to me, if I'm looking at what he's bringing to the table for this team, I mean, I might sound like the Debbie Downer of this praise committee of Randall Cobb, and I that's your former teammate, right, G. Jones? Like, I get that you guys like Randall, but he's not going to have that big of an impact. That's just the case. That's just what it is.
I actually tend to agree with LaVar on this. And I do believe even the trading for him, yes, the Green Bay Packers didn't give him that contract. But the fact of the matter is they're bringing him in with that contract, which could negatively impact how Devontae Adams or Mario Rodgers or somebody else is going to get paid. So they're looking at it and say, well, you brought him in here knowing what he's making, and that could potentially affect all of us. I think the other concern I have is that Randall was with a really good quarterback. It's not as if he's going with an average quarterback and now he's joining Aaron Rodgers, so we expect him that the reason that he's had the fall off the last couple of years is because he was with bad quarterbacks and he'll be rejuvenated by this. It's also his age. 31, like that's right at the cusp of where we start to see the decline with most wide receivers. So is it good for Aaron Rodgers? Absolutely. Do I think that Randall Cobb is going to be some game changer, even if they get to the Super Bowl? I can't go that far, and I think there's a little bit of potential for this going the wrong way rather than the right way.
Mm.
Yeah, this is where I disagree. Again, even when you talk about he was with a really good quarterback, and that quarterback being Deshaun Watson, yes, he was. But if you understand how they ran offense down in Houston versus in Green Bay, completely different. They were 5 wide, probably more than anyone in the National Football League. And it was consistent. And it's like, okay, drop back and find somebody, get open. In Green Bay, that is not the case. You are going to be schemed. You are going to be put in position to be successful. And so when you have a quarterback who is mindful, which Aaron Rodgers obviously is going to be mindful when Randall Cobb is on the field and look at matchups and see who has the better matchup, he's going to be productive because of those various reasons. And so this is why I disagree. It's not about always age. It's about understanding who you have, what your expectations of them are, and how to effectively utilize them. That is something that the Green Bay Packers will be mindful of. This is why Randall Cobb will end up having an impact on their season as well as the postseason if they are to make it.